How do we feel about Oklahoma's offense week 1 under Joe Jon Finley? We'll discuss coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Did Oklahoma's offense improve, Jay?
It felt like it. I felt like we made progress. Now, I'm not going to say that we made leaps and bounds, but we saw a step forward. The offense looked like it could move. It looked like it was moving the ball up and down the field. Now, second half, we saw regressions, but first half, it felt like the offense knew what they were doing. The wide receivers were finding ways to just at least get blocking. If there's anything that I can say the wide receivers did, if they weren't catching very many catches, in which I think Jacob Jordan caught, six of them?
Yeah.
And then J.J. Hester got 1. So you really only had, and Brennan Thompson got 3 targets. He didn't catch anything. And so you didn't get a lot of wide receiver action. But you know what they were doing, though, John? They were blocking on the run. Zion Kearney was doing a really good job of blocking when I saw him out there on the field. J.J. Hester seems to always do well when he blocks for the most part. Brennan Thompson does a good job of drawing defenders away because of his speed. Honestly, I watched them double team him most of the game. They had a bracket going with him. So anytime he tried to go deep, you had a dude over the top and a dude underneath. Mm-hmm. Ole Miss read their scouting report. They're like, all right, if this offense ever shows up, they're going deep to these dudes. We're not going to let them. And so that's kind of where you saw all that underneath and those tight end plays end up being open because they were playing the wide receivers, especially the ones that we know that can burn. But overall, John, to me, I feel like we took a step forward. I'm not saying that we're back to where we need to be, but we took a step forward. I just hope we don't take 2 steps back.
Yeah, you can't look at 14 points and sit there and be like, oh, Oklahoma's offense is back. No, it's better. I mean, remember, you didn't score. You scored 1 touchdown against South Carolina, scored no touchdowns against Texas. And if we want to look at this like in red zone trips, remember, you didn't have a red zone trip against Texas. You had 1 maybe against South Carolina. Or no, you didn't have a red zone trip against South Carolina either. So in this one, you had 4 red zone trips. You discussed the decision to go for it it was a 4th and goal from the 2, I think it was, as opposed to kick a field goal early in the game. I like the decision. I think it's an aggressive decision. It shows where Brent Venables' mindset is at.
Yeah.
A little bit different play call, maybe. Don't get cute with it. Just either ram it or get Jackson Arnold, get his athleticism out in space and try to run that bootleg sprint out. But other than that, I don't hate it. It's easy to second guess it when the final score turns out to be 26-14. That 3 maybe makes it 26-17. And then later in the game, when you're faced with, 4th and long, about 5 minutes left to play or so, you can kick another field goal. I mean, again, it's all second guessing. It's all hindsight's 2020, but I like the aggressiveness. I think it showed what their goal was in this game, and that's to score touchdowns. But you had 2 red zone trips that didn't come away with points, but they were efficient. They had 2 touchdowns in the red zone other than that. So they didn't get a touchdown off of a big play. They had to actually drive the football. And that's the thing that it showed me that this is an improved offense. Were they beneficiaries of some penalties? Absolutely. But that's on Ole Miss. I mean, Ole Miss gave you extra life, but you took advantage of it. You got the ball into scoring position at least 4 times, and that's what you got to do to have a chance to win. The big plays are great. You're going to hit a big play here and there, but if you cannot drive the ball efficiently and you cannot go on a 6-play drive for 80 yards or a 13-play drive for 68 yards like they had, then you're not going to be able to score points consistently. Because the big plays, I mean, Ole Miss took the big plays away, just like you said, which was why it was so frustrating to see them continually go back to the wide receiver pass or trying to get Bauer Sharp to throw a tight end pass on 1st and 10 inside the red zone with 5 minutes to play. I'm just
and I got it. I get it. I totally get you. I agree with you on that. It made no sense to do it. Well, it made no sense to do it in that capacity. Like, why would you do that there? That's not going to trick them. They're still going to pay attention to those fast wide receivers. So focus on getting just down the field, nickel and dime your way down. At some point, they're going to respect the pass over the middle, and they're going to bring dudes up enough to where you can try for a deep pass. Yeah. But overall, Ole Miss, like I said, they followed the scouting report. They're like, JJ Hester kid away. Yeah, no JJ Hester, no Brendan Thompson. Either one of those two is going to burn us.
Yeah,
we've got dudes that are fast enough that can keep up. So but for me, getting smart with the dump offs to the Javonte Barnes and the Bauer Sharps, that's what you're supposed to do when you have a team that's literally watching and hawking over your fast guys. Bring in another receiver. Should have went more two-back set. That's the only thing that disappointed me about the way the offense ran. We didn't have enough two-back sets. Give me some Barnes and Tatum together. Give me some Barnes and Hicks together. Give me some Tatum and Hicks. Something. Give me two backs, and then let them go out there and do something. That, to me, would have been the smart. Would have been smart because that would have been a strategy that would have probably thrown them off. Because I think it's thrown off everybody that we played against so far whenever we did do it.
Well, and let me see maybe Brendan Thompson run some stuff in the short space. Like, yes, he can win deep, and he's going to threaten teams deep. But at times, hey, mix it up a little bit and use him on a drag. Use him on a wide receiver screen. Make teams respect the fact that maybe he'll catch something underneath. That way it draws him in, and then you can go over the top a little bit more to him. Listen, I get Bauer Sharp gets open. At the same time, let's not call a 2nd and 18 tight end screen.
Yeah, that's just dumb.
Let's not. I get that he played quarterback in the past. Let's not try to throw the ball to Bauer Sharp so that he can throw the ball to somebody else.
Yeah, that's never going to be successful.
In that moment, just in that moment, again, your run game had been super effective in this game, and that's a plus. Like Javonte Barnes averaged 4.2 yards per carry. Taylor Tatum averaged 4.7 yards per carry in this game. Still has some ball security issues, but you were running the ball efficiently. If you're going to do anything on 1st and 10, put yourself in a manageable second and run the ball.
Yes.
Like, just keep moving the ball forward. Keep being physical. Like, especially knowing that you don't have your starting left tackle out there anymore, and you're relying upon a guy who's not played a lot of college football to go and block NFL edge rushers.
Like, your NFL downhill. Edge rushers.
Yeah. And so it was just like, and listen, I'm not going to sit here and dump on Joe Jon Finley because first time being an offensive play caller, and it was improvement from what we'd seen the previous 2 weeks. At the same time, you also have to understand what's been working and try not to go away from it too much and try not to get too cute. There was a stretch where Jackson Arnold had 4 completions for 0 yards.
Yeah.
In the second half. So you've got, listen, I understand we got to play the short game a little bit too, but you also got to start attacking the intermediate, and they were doing an effective job at that. You just can't go away from some of the things that worked and try to get too cute. And I think at times Joe Jon Finley just got a little bit too cute.
Yeah, he was trying to mix things up. I get why he would, but at the same time, I agree with you. There's no reason to get too cute with it. But I'll give it to Jackson Arnold on this. If you take away the sacks, the 10 sacks, well, the 9 on him, the 1 on Bauer Sharp, but the 9 sacks and the loss of yards there, he had 100 yards rushing in the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty darn good to see your quarterback able to get you 100 yards rushing, if you just take out all of the constant hits that he took in the last 2 possessions of the game, in which we'll have to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, so Jackson Arnold, I always love that Pro Football Focus will do this for you, but they take away the sack yardage on the rushing totals, and they credit him with 99 rushing yards on 15 carries. So really good. Really, really good. And that's what you need out of Jackson Arnold. Let's talk about the defense, because there was some good, but not enough good coming up here on Locked On Sooners.